What is going on, YouTube? Welcome to the Living Free channel. My name is Tyler Freed, and in this video, I'm going to be talking about whether or not I feel like I am wasting my life driving a truck or wasting my life in the trucking industry. And the reason why I'm answering this question is because I did get a comment on a recent video where a person said that they got into trucking and they felt like they were just wasting their life away just for a paycheck. That's pretty much what they feel about trucking. It's just, you're just out here wasting your life away for a paycheck. And a lot of drivers feel that way. A lot of people are very negative when it comes to the job of trucking. And so I'm going to give my perspective on this. And the reason I'm going to even talk about this is because so many people are looking at trucking as a long-term career. And there's a ton of content like that out there where people think it's a horrible job, it's a horrible career, horrible lifestyle, all of that. And I'm gonna kind of talk about how I've used trucking to create financial independence. And in the long run, I'm creating generational wealth for my wife and my son and even his kids in the future. And you could do the same thing too. But you have to have a whole different perspective and mindset and game plan in order to achieve that. And I'm just gonna talk about what I've done to do exactly what I just talked about. Because here's the thing, is it true that trucking, being an over-the-road truck driver, yeah, it can be a tough lifestyle. But here's the thing, in the trucking industry, if you're a driver, you don't have to do over the road. I do over the road because for what I do, there's more money doing what I do in my situation. There's more money in what I'm doing, but you don't have to be over the road. There's regional jobs, there's local jobs, there's over the road jobs. There's plenty of great jobs in trucking that don't require you to be over the road. They don't. And some people love over the road, like myself. I love it. Some people like regional, some people like dedicated, some people like local. It just depends what you want to do, honestly. So just to debunk that, trucking is a bunch of different things. There's not just one thing you can do. So for those of you watching me, if you're like, hey, I'll go get my year of experience, but after that, I want to be local, I want to be regional, you can do that. You don't have to do what I'm doing. The reason I'm doing what I'm doing is because I have certain goals, and I'm going to get into those goals in this video, but I just want to be very clear. So if you're ever intimidated by trucking as a career, don't be intimidated by that. Just because a lot of the people you watch are OTR, that doesn't mean you have to be OTR forever. So I just want to get that out of the way first and foremost. But what is that thing you got to do to make trucking not a waste of life? Because I do agree with that guy that said that. If you come out here and all you're doing is just driving, making a paycheck with no plan and just spending all of your money, you're not investing your money, you're not using it to pay off debt, you're not saving up to get your own truck, start a business. If you don't have any goals set, I 100% agree with you. You should just go get a local job and live your life. Why are you out here? Why are you wasting your time out here over the road if you're just going to blow all your money with no goals? I do agree with people that if that's what they're going to do, hey, I would not come out here and do that. But if you're different, if you see the opportunity in trucking, and there's a lot of misinformation out there about trucking, about, oh, most drivers make 60,000 a year. No, maybe that might be the average, but if you want to be average, then like I said, just go get a local job. You can make 60, 70 grand a year and be home every night on the weekends. I want to do more than that. That is what I want to do, right? So, and you can do that. You can do that 100%. But I want to make more than that. I want to make 6 figures plus. When I stuck to OTR, I started 5 years ago, OTR, and I started out making about 60,000 a year my first year. Then I got up to like 75, 80,000. And then about year 3, I started training, and that's where I started making that 6-figure income. And then I left Millis Transfer. I didn't want to train anymore. I found a great opportunity with Crete. And the last 2.5 years, I've been company for the last 2.5 years with Crete. I just recently bought a truck and started being an owner operator. And but yeah, with Crete, I was making over 100 grand. I made $105,000 last year W-2, that was my pay at Crete Carrier, and that's as a company driver. Yeah, did I have to get out here and run and make sacrifice and all of that? Absolutely, I had to do that. 100%, I had to do that. But that's what you have to do in any field. Just to be clear, I don't care whether it's trucking, I don't care whether it's you're a plumber or a engineer or a doctor or a lawyer. It doesn't matter what career field you're in, you're gonna have to put in the work. You're gonna have to sacrifice. You know, doctors work 12-hour shifts, 13-hour shifts. You know, people act like just because you're home for certain careers that make a lot of money means that you're present. You're really not. These people work long hours. People that are successful, that make a lot of money, work long hours. Yes, we are out here on the road, but understand, if you're an owner operator with a paid off truck, you can make $150,000 to $200,000 a year with a paid off truck, and that's running general freight. That's not even getting into like specialized stuff that you could do. There's so many opportunities. You know, if you have your endorsements or whatever, you can make 6 figures plus as a company driver. There's so many opportunities. So before you get in, for it not to be a waste of life, this is what I did. I knew before I got into trucking, I wanted to be an owner operator. I knew I wanted to do that. I also knew that I wanted to create financial independence with trucking. So I set goals before I got in. Before I got in, I knew what I wanted to do with trucking. I knew the route I wanted to go to make my money. I knew I wanted to go in. I wanted to get my experience, make as much money as I could as a company driver, save as much money as I could, and then whenever I was ready to go out and buy my first truck, I was gonna do it in cash, which I did that. I bought it in cash and became an owner-operator. Now that I'm an owner-operator, I see the real money in trucking. I 100% do. Paid off truck, you know, it's amazing, right? And I'm 5 years into it. I wanna be very clear. For those of you watching this video, it's gonna take 5 years to accomplish your goal, to get to where you wanna go. It might take 6, 7 years, but you can do it. You can go from making 60K a year in trucking to 160 plus, right? With one truck, a paid off truck. You can do that 100%. And I know you can do that because I'm doing it. I see the money every week. I see what I'm bringing in. And so don't let anybody tell you that you can't make money in trucking. That's number one. Stop listening to 90% of the drivers out there. They don't know what they're talking about. You know, most of them are just negative and don't want to do the work to be successful. That's the truth. So you have to avoid 90% of the people out here and just figure out how to get to the money and do what you got to do to get there. 100%. You're going to have to get out here, work your face off, do things differently that other people won't do. That's the key in trucking, is do what others won't do. Most people will not work 5 years as a company driver, sacrifice time away from home and bars and all the quote unquote fun that's out there. They won't do that so that they can set themselves up for success. They won't do that. That's what I did. Like I said, that's what I did. I knew I wanted to be a business owner. I knew that I wanted to create financial freedom. I knew that. So also on top of that, okay, once I figured out what I wanted to do with trucking, and I've been talking about this the last few videos, but I want to drive this point home because I truly believe what I'm talking about, anybody can replicate what I'm doing. It's not rocket science. I'm not any smarter than any of you. I'm not. It's just a simple plan. Figure out what you want to do with trucking. Number one, get to the money. Use that money to get out of debt and stay out of debt. Build up a 6-month emergency fund and then start investing your money or saving up to start a business, because saving up to start a business is investing your money. But get out of debt and have a 6-month emergency fund. What's an emergency fund? It's 6 months worth of living expenses so that if you lost your job, you got hurt, something happened, you could pay your bills, right? And it could float you through any scenario. But above that 6-month emergency fund, start saving up. If you want to be an owner operator, start saving up to buy that first truck above that 6-month emergency fund. Or if you don't want to do that, you want to start investing, okay, learn about investing in stocks, learn about investing in real estate. The key is to get out of debt and buy assets. Those assets could be a multitude of things like I just alluded to. But the point is come into trucking with goals. That's what I did. I wanted to, it's very simple for me. I wanted to come into trucking, make as much money as possible, save as much money as possible, and create financial independence. Like I said, I wanted to be an owner-operator. Okay, so I'm gonna have to save a lot of money. That's when I first started. I knew it would take a long time. I knew it would. The way I wanted to do it too, I knew it would take a long time. So that's what I did. I got in, I hustled, and I saved my money, right? And after 5 years, I was able to not only become an owner-operator debt-free, but not have to cash out over 50% of my invested portfolio to do it, which was also nice, right? So I still got that nest egg in case something happens. I still have that nest egg. In case this owner-operator thing doesn't work out, I still have that investment to fall back on if, you know, it doesn't work out, right? And so, you know, but those were my goals. You know, those were my goals, and anybody can achieve things like I'm talking about. Anybody can do what I'm talking about. All you have to do is have a plan and the right work ethic, and you can achieve anything you want to achieve. Trucking is going nowhere. It's one of the best industries out there as far as the ability to grow and expand in. 100%, yeah, 90% of people don't make real money in trucking, but that's that way in every industry. And it, you know, it doesn't matter where you go. It's all about mindset, your education, and your willingness to succeed, 100%. So that's my video for today. I really appreciate each and every one of you guys for watching my channel. You're the reason I keep doing it. All the subscribers out there, you're the reason I keep doing it, 100%. But to end, before I end, like I said, I'm using trucking to build wealth. I specifically am investing in two things. I'm investing in a trucking business, and I'm investing in low-cost index funds. That's what I buy. I invest in trucking, and I invest in the stock market. Those are the only two things that I do. It's very simple, but it's very profound and very powerful, and that's what you need to do. Come in, have a plan for your career, and then have a plan for what you're gonna do with your money, and then just don't stop, stay slow and steady, and eventually you'll build tremendous financial freedom for yourself and your family. So anyway, like I said, God bless. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for the next video, and peace out.